We're Batman at 89.
Hello, and welcome once again to Batman at 89, the podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and throw pens into the throat of Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film, 1 minute at a time. We did 10 takes of that intro, and that was the best one. So, as you can no doubt tell. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
I am one of the other hosts, John Parker.
And again, we're joined for the final time this week, anyway, but potentially to come back. Well, presumably, maybe he'll come back for the next film. Maybe he'll come back later this film. We don't know. We don't know yet. But once again, joined by other minute-by-minute podcaster, Sean German.
Hello. Thank you for having me back, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming back. That's the main thing. Like, you didn't run away after the first one.
Yeah. As the fact you keep getting the flights back over to America and then coming back the next day, it's just like it's costly this for you. So thanks for showing us.
It is. It's a tough schedule, but I started this week. Dadgummit, I'm gonna finish.
Yeah, I suppose you get plenty of times to make notes on that, like those 12-hour flights as well. So anyway, today we're here to talk about minute 48 of Tim Burton's Batman. Minute 48 begins with Joker just pontificating to the public. And ends 1 minute later with Vicky and Bruce coming to quite a confused meeting of when they finally, her ruse is finally up and he realizes that she's been following him.
I touched on this a few minutes ago. I mean, it obviously is this particular version of Bruce, but it still startles me that he didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Batman. How the hell did he not know he was being tailed?
Yeah. But anyway, we can get to that once we get to the relevant seconds. But yeah, we get here. We're back again with the Joker in this, this very different outfit from what he usually wears because he's decked out in sort of black and white checkered trousers, black tailcoat, a top hat, and he's got makeup done different because that's the thing that really takes me about it is that he's got his face made up in a kind of like it's almost like a French Marie Antoinette kind of thing of like the lips have done into like a little heart and it's got.
I thought that was a mime thing. I thought he was trying to blend in with the mimes.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
Yeah.
But it struck me as like I was thinking in that with the Joker when he goes into the chemicals or when Jack Napier goes into those chemicals, usually it's always noted that like bleaches his skin white, turns his hair green, and then his lips are bright red. But this seems like he's obviously, as he had to go in with a little bit of white makeup then that matches his skin tone to do his lips with this, or like, so I'm assuming he didn't put on the lipstick before he went and killed Grissom. So we are meant to assume that his lips are now that red color. So he must have had like, I've got to get a foundation that looks the exact same shade of white. This is like, is this eggshell or is this autumn wheat or like what?
Have you made that up, or have you looked at the Dulux color chart?
No, I was thinking of an episode of Frasier where he's talking about his different rugs, and they're all just like brown, but they keep talking about like buff, autumn wheat, harvest dusk, and all this.
I should have known you'd have brought Frasier up.
It's been a while since I did, so
yeah. I thought as well with the Joker here. I don't know whether it's the lighting. It could very well be, but his makeup looks very different in general. The white. Like, let's say from a filmmaking standpoint, not as a character.
Yeah.
Like, so Jack Nicholson, either they've gone for, either it's the lighting or they've gone for a different makeup or something because it looks really caked on and kind of greasy.
Yeah. That could just be it's an unfortunate, out in the open air when you don't have quite as much control of the lighting situation. It just doesn't come across as well as it does when they're indoors and they can kind of work with it a bit more, but
or as we were saying not too long ago, actually, it could just be this is like the 60th take, and they've had to reapply it.
Oh, it could be, yeah. That's another very real possibility. There's one thing. That was another thing though. Then that Mac McDonald interview, and it's like one of these things. Maybe it's sour grapes in his part because he claims that Jack Nicholson worked 11 days on this film. He's like, he only did 11 days work. And that seems...
How would he know that?
I don't know. It seems like maybe he worked 11 days with you, but like, there's no way that he got all of those scenes in 11 days. Like, that would be physically impossible. It could just be more just like, no, I hate Jack Nicholson. Yeah, but you know what? And he never blew his nose either. He was just making up random crap about him.
It ruined a potential Jack Nicholson appearance on Red Dwarf.
Yeah,
well. He was gonna come on, and then the argument happened, and they just had to say, "Sorry, Jack, we've got to cut you."
And then because he mentions that Galley had worked 11 days, and he does say a thing about his stand-in was there constantly. He's like, if there's ever a shot where it's not close up, you can be sure that it's not Jack Nicholson. And it's like, well, again, because at the end of this, he kind of does these little dainty steps down the stairs. Like, is that the stand-in? It's like, that looks like Jack Nicholson to me, but at the same time, it's not that tight in on him. The way he tells this story, you think the guy never did any work on the film or something.
Well, knowing what we know about his contract and his scheduling and things, I could buy that. He probably just turned up for the face shots and like, right, I'm going to see it.
Yeah, but that's just unfortunate. Like, it could be a different situation when you're actually there. But I would imagine if I was playing the Joker, I'd want to be there like all the time. They'd be like, oh, I'm doing every second of this. Like, I want to be involved in this. But then this is more like, this guy's like, I've just got a big paycheck, and just I'm not there. Just whoever get whoever to play the part. I don't care. Like, I'll do the close-ups, but that's all I need to do. But,
yeah.
But anyway, I want to note as well, like, what happens in this minute now is like, this is the Joker's sort of announcement of his presence and the fact that he's sort of seizing control of, like, he's the big hotshot criminal in Gotham now. And this is one theory I had as to why, like, he's wearing this top hat and tails business. It's because, like, maybe, I don't know, I've never seen a mime in that, so it could be mime connected. But I also thought as well, because it weirdly reminded me of the Monopoly Man. And it's like, is this like a reference? He's going like, I've got the monopoly now on Gotham. Like, I am I'm the banker. I'm the big guy now. I am crime in this city because I've, spoiler for what's about to happen. But he's taking care of the fella who was, taking over Grissom's assets. So.
Yeah. No, I like that. I hadn't thought of it that way. I mean, my only theory was if it isn't a mime look, which we're going to have to get Sean to clarify, if it wasn't a mime look, I thought maybe, is he going for like a kind of weird ringmaster kind of a thing?
Yeah, it could be that as well, yeah. We do get Two-Face showing up as a ringmaster like later in a later film.
So for once and for all then, is this anything to do with Mime, or is he just being weird?
I think he's just being weird. It's just the Joker. There's most of the outfit could possibly pass, but the top hat. There's no top hat in Mime. There's no place for that sort of thing. And there's I like the tie-in as a sort of a ringmaster look with the circus, because there is another clowning element. In this minute, one of the mimes has a clown's nose, has like a red spongy nose, which is definite clown and not mime, the red nose. So
the rest of him seems to look like a mime, though, to me. But I don't know everything but the nose
seemed.
Could have been he didn't get the memo at the last minute. It's like going with mimes. He's like, oh, I thought we were doing clowns. Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, he's missed a memo. Had like a previous revision of the plan, and showed up.
Like, this Joker, man, you can't work with him. He just constantly changing his mind about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've only just thought of this as well. I was wondering why he picked mimes for them and not clowns. I'm assuming it must be because he's the clown.
He's the clown.
He's the only clown. Yeah. So in a way, that's making a very aggressive statement on the hierarchy of clowning.
That could be.
I thought clowns are above mimes on his scale.
in his mind alone. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It could be like. Yeah, mimes are they're seen, not heard. So it's like, these are the underlings. They don't question me. I'm the guy with again the ringleader. I'm the guy with like the megaphone who's here to make sure everyone knows I'm in charge now. So,
and just from a practical standpoint, in terms of scripting, there's no lines. There's no dialogue for the mimes. If there's clowns, what if someone asks them a question? They may have to say something. It complicates the whole caper, really. So Yeah. Just go with Mimes. You don't have to worry about that whole thing.
It could be
Absolutely.
That's a consideration that like the Joker and Bob had to come up with. Of like, well, what if someone comes over and like they ask them to do some clowning and they don't know what to say? It's like, oh god, oh yeah, these guys are idiots. Change it to Mimes. Mimes don't have to talk. No one will question the Mimes.
There you go.
Well, I like this bit when Joker says that Grissom did sign his businesses away to these guys, but with his dead hands, covered in his own blood. It was a hit.
This is one of these. You know, I think it's a thing frequently gets brought up here, but lines of dialogue that I often quote that no one picks up the reference. So like a lot of times, like whenever someone has to say like, "Oh, did you see this?" There's times I have done like, I saw it all. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it all. He reached up with his dead hand and he signed it in his own blood. It's like I usually get like well, going back to that stuff.
Well, that took a dark turn. Okay.
Yeah. I found it quite interesting that, I don't know if he's being literal, but why would you bother to physically get the dead man's hands to sign with the pen? Because it's not going to look like his signature. It must be more metaphorical, surely.
The thing is, like, I think it could go very much either way, because it's the Joker. It's like, he could have been like, this will be funny, I'll get the corpse to sign the thing that make it extra legal. That would be in
Well, that's assuming it's masterminded by Joker.
Oh no, I think it is. I think this is because we had his announcement of, well, yeah, like we were saying back in the beginning of the week when he's had this meeting with him. He's made this announcement like, I'm the hot shot now, and they chucked him out. And it could have been now, like, for legal reasons, like, yeah, I'm signed. Grissom signed all his stuff over to this fella because I want them to be at this courthouse. So then, when I kill him, everyone could be there to see, like, hey, there's a new player in town, and all, this kind of thing. So,
yeah,
and yeah, I can very much imagine him hauling Grissom's corpse up to sign the, putting the pen in his hand and stuff.
Well, you need to do that if they ever check for fingerprints. Then you make sure the right fingerprints are on the pen. Although if he actually signed with the feather, I don't know if you can get fingerprints off a feather.
Yeah,
maybe that's why
you can't really
the feather.
You can't really dust for feathers.
No, you can't. And I'm skeptical. I'll put it out there as one. I'm just skeptical that he actually signed with that's the actual pen with that feathered
yes. pen. Which is conveniently in the Joker colors, may I point out? Yeah.
I do love. So, he hauls out it's not even as a quill. Technically, is what you'd.
Quill,
yes. Like strictly speaking, it's not like a bic. He's a big biro is brought out or something. But like, because he does. He did it with this pen, and he kind of runs his fingers up through it. I absolutely love. This is like finally we got a reaction from Ricorso, because he was the guy who just sat. When Ratelli was killed, was just like, oh, you're crazy. But this now, seeing this, it's been confronted by this clown man again, and he's going on about, he signed it with his own blood, and then he pulls out this, pulls out a quill. He has a kind of look of like, what is this guy on about? Like, he finally kind of breaks a bit of like, who is this guy? Like, what is this? But I just love it. It's a very subtle bit of it's facial acting, but it's just like, it just really makes the fact he finally got to him. He finally got a reaction of like, what?
That's all he wanted, probably.
Although that reminds me as well, like it must have been the whole signing his dead hand thing had to be metaphorical, because he wouldn't have literally made him sign it in his own blood. I think that would be a thing. You couldn't bring that down to the courthouse to be like, this thing's weird, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, imagine that. I'm going to turn up with all my legal documents signed in blood from now on.
Must be like, use a pen, Sideshow Bob.
Oh, another one. Boom. Before we move on to one of the coolest things in this movie that's about to happen, I noticed something that I found cool and everyone else will probably find boring. Was on the left-hand side, just before it zooms back into the Joker again, you can see what looks like a hot dog stand.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So I thought, at least the mayor has got access to some hot dogs, even if he can't get as many as he'd have liked earlier in the film.
Like, I'm just getting it out there. I'm permeating the streets with it just to get people savoring those hot dogs. because
Yeah, he just wants to get people a taste for it. Yeah, once they taste one of these bad boys, they're never going to go
you
back.
find out it's actually the mayor himself is the guy serving them. Just like, it's like, come on, you people love
You're
it.
going to
right?
love them.
The first one's free, and then once they get you hooked, they jack up the price.
Yeah. That's how they get you with the old hot dog trick.
But yeah, then we get this. This is another one of these things of, when you're a kid and you hear something, and it's only like years later you actually pick up on what has actually been said. Because I always thought, so he says like, "Oh, I did," and he did it with this pen, and then he says, "What he actually says is, hello, Vinny, it's your Uncle Bingo." I used to always think he said, "Hello, Penny." Like he was talking to the pen. And I was like, this is weird. Because then again, of course, his face is just like, this is weird. Like, what's happening? But he's referring to him. He's like, but then even it does just turn weird then because it's like a hello, Vinny. All right, fair enough. You're talking to him.
Yeah.
It's your Uncle Bingo.
Yeah, what's that?
It's like, what are you talking about?
I couldn't find an explanation. Is this a reference to something that we're not getting these days, or what?
No, genuinely. I think you just go like Google it and it's like, I can guarantee if you do, it'll just show up results for Batman. Like,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the only thing I could find that wasn't a reference to this exact scene was a trailer for a movie called Uncle Bingo, and in that movie, it's about a policeman, an officer who's engaged to a woman. Whose uncle turns out to be Bruno Bingo Bambino, the gangster. So a little bit of a,
okay.
I guess a little bit of a gangster film, but rom-com at the same time. How this, this guy balances the fact, works with the fact that he's marrying this woman, but her uncle is Uncle Bingo, and he's a policeman. And I actually haven't been able to find the movie itself. I don't know if it exists or not, but there's a trailer on YouTube. There's no IMDb entry for the film.
Oh, that's weird.
But one interesting thing about the trailer, there's a scene of a guy beating up a mime. In the trailer, there's a little quick clip of a mime getting some punishment. So
this has been a traumatic day for you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The things I had to put myself through for this podcast. But that was the only reference I could find to an Uncle Bingo that wasn't this movie. So yeah, I thought maybe it was like a bozo or something, like back in the 50s. There was some old clown or something, but not that I could find.
At least we found out everything is connected once again, because that's a.
I wonder though if it was like this is Uncle Bingo, like that film was like a passion project that Jack Nicholson worked on that nobody saw. It's just like I'm gonna make a reference to this bloody film and everything I work on. If it kills me.
It turned out there's all these secret messages, in every Jack Nicholson film.
But after that, then line he gets the. Time to pick up the check, and then he finally throws the quill into his neck, which is
holy crap!
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty cool.
And he goes down.
How
down goes Vinny?
Although, like we say, because what happens then after is like all the mimes whip out these Tommy guns and shoot like most of the people on the stairs. But like I don't know if that would the hit to the throat because there's no blood. Would that have killed him? Do you think he could have recovered from that? I'm assuming he also got shot on the way down. But this was just more for like a theatrical announcement of like it's the Joker, this kind of thing. But
my first question was, how did he get a pen to stick into a man's neck? He didn't shove it into his neck; he just threw it. So it's got to be. It's not a pen, is it?
No,
it can't. It can't be a pen. So, I mean, if it was a pen, that wouldn't kill him. Because they don't go in too deep. That's got to be, I don't know, a blade or something sharp, something he has sharpened.
Yeah. Oh, I imagine he's gone down and like just had gone down to the old buzzsaw and just been like, yep, just sharpening up the pen.
Even so, that throw to stick into his throat.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's one of those things too. Is like, was Jack Napier? Did he commonly do? Was he like a really good darts player? And that's how he was. It's like, oh, I'm that good. Believe you me. Because it would have been really embarrassing if he threw that and it just like it hit him in like the hat or something and just fell to the ground. It's like
that'd be me. But living in a country where darts is a pretty big thing for some reason, we should know more than anyone, Niall. He can't be a good darts player because he's not fat and drunk. They're the two prerequisites for being good at darts. The more beer you have, the better you get.
Theoretically, Ricorso would be the dart champion. Maybe he did beat him in darts before, and this is like an ironic way to get him back.
Screw you.
Like, oh, you like your darts, do you? Take this. And then Ricorso goes down. Very dramatic, like a big flourish from Danny Elfman. The crowd goes wild. And and then the Joker announces the old adage, because you got to throw a joke in there as well, I guess, of the pen is truly mightier than the sword, which is like, wah, because he just killed a guy with a pen.
Right. Well, I've got a problem with this joke, right? This is my issue, right? Because he comes out with that, the pen is truly mightier than the sword. But, like, I don't know, man. If you threw a sword at his neck, it would have had a similar effect, would it not?
It may have had more of an effect, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But so we just see more evidence that John, you would not have made a good goon. Because if I don't think any of these mimes would have survived if, like, in the planning, they'd be like, excuse me, Mr. Joker, technically speaking, a sword would have done more damage.
Well, I mean, again, maybe that's why he hired the mimes, is because, he's only just become the Joker. So he's got to build up a repertoire. He's got to work on his gags. He's not used to dropping these things left and right.
That could be another thing as well, is that, the scene when, after he's just fried Vitelli, that's when the goons come in. And I think it's the same guys, because Mac McDonald's definitely there. I think maybe he was the guy who let out the big, as he ran into the room. And the Joker could have, like, taken a note there, and he's like, I'm not having this screaming business going on. Yeah. It's like, the hell with that. And so it's like, no, next time, mimes. All right. And next, whatever scheme I have after that, statues. This is the thing I'm going with now. Yeah. Whatever way I can find to shut you guys up. It's just
now.
Because you really embarrassed me there when you let out that roar.
Since you flash back to that scene, do you think maybe Rotelli, his thing was like arm wrestling? And that's why he gets killed by a handshake. And then here, Ricorso, he was the dart player, so he gets done in by a dart. The Joker's, Napier's going through, he's like killing everybody for, using their own thing against them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool. That's a very Joker thing to do. I could imagine
that's like one of those things. It makes too much sense now. It's like official headcanon of the show. That's definitely what's happened. So
I have to go edit the wiki and add an entry that Rotelli was a big arm wrestler and Ricorso was big into darts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how long it would take people to notice. Probably nobody has looked at those pages on the wiki for years and years until we did for this episode.
I did look up the because the pen is mightier than the sword is a common phrase you hear all the time. I was like, where does it come from? So I do have a little apparently the sentence brackets, if not the idea, which had been expressed in various earlier forms, was coined by the English author Edward Bulwer-Lytton. Or Bulwer-Lytton? Bulwer? Bulwer-Lytton in his 1839 play Richelieu or The Conspiracy. The play was about Cardinal Richelieu, I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, sorry. Richelieu. Though in the author's words, licensed with dates and details, has been, though not unsparingly, indulged. And then it's just from like Act 2, Scene 2. And this is the guy, apparently at the time, everyone really loved that line, and even people were saying like, if nothing else, the guy, if he's not remembered for anything, he's got that line, that pen is mightier than the sword thing is definitely going to be remembered. If not for people going, no, a sword could totally kill you. But it always makes me think as well, is because I'm a big fan of the Smiths, and I remember there is a photo of Morrissey taken with like a handwritten sign, but pen is mightier than the sword, but to put pen and is a little too close together, so it makes another word. So it's that's where my mind always goes with that myself.
Cheeky Morrissey, as always. But then, yes, there's gunshots all over the place, and Bruce is very startled. And I didn't notice this until, obviously, we were over-analysing it because we're crazy. But they only gun down the mobsters and the police. Like they leave everyone else very deliberately. I mean, obviously, I knew Knox survived, but they don't target any of the, let's say, civilians.
Yeah. Well, I guess this is like what Batman was doing earlier with his whole like, I want you to tell all your friends about me. Mm-hmm. It's like he wants people to see of like, yep, I killed that guy, I killed all the cops, I killed all the gangsters. Go and tell everybody. Like this is the Joker's in town. Like this is, I think it was a very deliberate move to make sure that word got out about him. So,
well, all hail the new king in town.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, it's coming. Yeah.
So speaking of those police that are in the background of this little gathering and end up getting shot, they're not really quick on the reaction, on the uptake when when the Joker throws the pen or the quill and it goes into the guy's neck. And there's the photographers react immediately. There's flashes going off. People are taking pictures. You can see the cops in the back that are like, oh, something's happening. Do we want to get involved with this or what? And the decision's kind of made for them, but they don't try to stop what's going on. They don't jump into any kind of action until the gunfire starts, and by then it's of course too late.
Yeah, they're just kind of shuffling around aimlessly, and I mean, I'm gonna try and play devil's advocate and explain it. Let me think. I think maybe if we're gonna force ourselves to explain this, maybe Joker has paid off the cops already, and they're in on it, and then he's gunning them down anyway. And that's why they start to react. That's really a stretch, though.
What makes he does do a dramatic flourish and gets out that the pen is truly mightier than the sword line. And the cops are just kind of like, what? In the background. Yeah. So there has to be some explanations. But they are truly useless, these policemen.
We're not saying all cops are useless. Don't write in.
Just those two.
Yeah. And then one of them, though, like I do enjoy when he gets gunned down. He does have an actorly death. He has a proper, you see him in the background of like, kind of slowly falling to the ground and stuff. Like, twisting to the side as he goes down. He's like, oh yeah, someone's gonna notice this someday.
Well, you got to milk that for everything it's worth. Come on, yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Well, one of my favorite bits of the minute actually happens now, though, just straight after that, because I had never ever spotted this again until we were going through minute by minute. And it's that Vicky takes cover, and then we see Bruce take a bullet to the arm.
Yeah,
and he does not flinch.
Oh, look, I don't think the bullet hits him, but at least, it skims, it cuts through his jacket, or it cuts through his coat.
Well, yeah, even if it doesn't hit his skin or whatever, like, you would react to that.
Again, this is getting in now to this business of, he's like that's happening, all the gunshots going on, he's transfixed looking at the Joker. And even then we get, like, there's a shot, like, Vicky's taking cover, but she shouts out, like, Bruce! And that doesn't register with him. And the bullet just like he's still just like completely got his eyes on the Joker, and presumably it's like because when he comes into Alfred, he's just like, I just found out Jack Napier's still alive. But is he so just like one track minded that he's just like, I've seen a guy that I thought I dropped into a vat of chemicals, and he's just like, what? Like nothing else can take his mind off this. It's like, come on, man, you gotta be able to roll the punches of what's going on around you here, like. It could just be that that's a guy who looks loads like him. You don't have to be literally like, it's the same exact guy. I thought he was dead,
Yeah, I don't think you'd really recognize him.
That's also true as well. It's like we saw him in all this, with this, this new big smiling face and the completely, the additional makeup he's put on himself and everything. It's like, you potentially mightn't know who this is, but
it's interesting because as you mentioned that they're not shooting at the crowd or the reporters or anything. They're trying to go over their head and just hitting the gangsters and the two bum cops in the background. But somehow a stray bullet nicks Bruce on the shoulder. Yeah.
Well, but there must have been as well. They're quite strict with because again, like what happens here now is like the Joker. He does a very like dainty, so skips down the steps.
Yeah,
and then him and Bruce kind of have a little. He spots him and he has a little, like, he kind of slows a step for a bit and then walks off towards the car.
Like,
And but I think even at that point, it's like, if you say like, oh, I want you to kill the cops and the gangsters, but don't hit the reporters. But it could be just like, you don't have to leave all of them alive. It's like, because this guy's he's approaching the car. You think one of the goons will be like, no, I'm taking this guy out as well because he's coming for us. But he does nothing. It's just like, Joker hops in this car. Does this? I love this little bit of like, Bruce is staring at him through the glass, and he gives him a little.
Now is
wave.
That's a very peculiar wave. Is that a Joker thing? Does he wave like that in the comics at all, or?
I don't think it's a. I just took it as being it's more like it's just funnier. I mean, it's a very little dainty kind of like.
Very dainty. He's got it's his thumb and forefinger together with his other three fingers extended, and just a little. Though in the background, if you look around second 4950, Joker's in the back seat. He's waving at Bruce. The mime behind him, that guy is miming. That guy's got it right. He's got his exaggerated eyebrows and this huge frown. He is just he's miming for all his worth for that second or two that we see him in the back seat behind Napier.
He's the one pro. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, follow that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the very theatrical grimace as well, the real sad look of like, but because he's shaking his head. But I'm wondering, like, what's he trying to convey? Of like the Joker's waving, like, hey, it's me, it's me.
Yeah.
And this guy's like, shaking his head behind him, like, what's he trying to say? Of like, you're out of luck, or like, what? They go, you didn't get this guy. Like, what does this head shake mean? Like, is he just more like, I just want to do something, but I can't think what? So
yeah, I think it's just not this time.
It could be like the old, I don't know, like, they used to get the theater thing of like the laughing mask and the sad mask. So this is kind of like that, of like a really sad face saying no, and then the happy one beside him going no.
Yeah. So, Joker's got the frown, and Joker's got the smile, and then this guy's got the frown. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, that makes too much sense. That's perfect.
Wonderful.
But but then of course, so they speed off again because...
Well, why does Joker know Bruce's identity yet? Because he seems to very much be drawn to him and kind of almost single him out. Even when he just walked past him a minute ago and he gave him a little look.
I think that was more because everyone else was ducked down and the Joker spot, like, this one guy is just staring at me and he's kind of coming towards me. I think that's why he looked at him. It's a bit more like, why isn't this guy... scared, he doesn't seem to. So
you don't think maybe he's got a little inkling already? Is he putting two and two together?
No, I don't. I think it's just more. He's just like, oh, it's weird. It's one guy just isn't registering that this is happening. He's just sort of looking at me, and then when he's in the car, he's like, oh, he's looking at me again. Hello, like it's a little
weird guy.
Yeah. It's just
that is a cool look from Joker though, as he takes his hat off and looks up in the car. It's a pretty iconic shot.
But so the car trails off there, and then we get Vicky finally approaches Bruce to sort of be like, oh, kind of just flat out say, are you okay? But that seems to be the implication of like she's checking on him, and he doesn't quite register it at first. It seems like he kind of looks at her, and then he's just like, all right, and then just looks back at the car again, and then he looks back with a real like, what, like, you're here.
Yeah, I think the look on his face, it's like one of like shock and awe. I think he knows that this is like his new mission. This is the guy he's got to take down. Everything else is on hold. So he can't think of anything else.
And again, very much it's just it's like this because one we also had the speculation that he had recognized. Actually, I don't know if you've heard the minutes yet, Sean, because I think that's this coming week.
Oh,
of when he actually drops Napier into the chemicals. There's a look of like we were theorizing. Some people say it's because he recognizes them then and there. It's like, this is the man who killed my parents. And then so that now doubled with, I thought I already killed this guy. It's like, that's the guy who killed my parents. He's not dead.
Oh.
And now he's like a weird clown man. And it's just like, so that's why he's so like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't like that theory. I liked it. I found it interesting, but I don't subscribe to it in any way.
It's a working theory, but it is very much like it could be a thing that they placed in there, but it doesn't actually hold up much with the film's continuity, which we'll get to in the relevant minutes. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough support for it. Though he's definitely, he does look confused. He's kind of processing. There's this, who's this new gangster, this white-faced bad guy, and I can't even deal with Vicky Vale's hat right now. There's just too much else going on. I'm not even going to address it.
That's what the look of shock is. It's like, what? What's this?
That's what the double take was. He's just like, oh, okay, Vicky's here. Wait, what's this hat?
Yeah.
Like, it's...
And I think the hat's actually grown since the beginning of the week.
It's feeding.
It's just slowly eating more and more of her hair, which never seems to run out. She
It's been like a couple of films down the line. It's like a new supervillain. It's just like Hat Lady. It's like she's more hat now than woman twisted and evil. But much like Knox after this film, it's no more Vicky Vale. So it's like something happened to her.
Oh, I know, it's a shame. I'd have liked to have seen a return in some of the other movies. Return in Batman Returns, perhaps.
Oh, save it. That's next year's discussion. So.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, we're doing this for years, aren't we? Oh, no.
Like, why did she, like, when Mr. Freeze was going about, what if Vicky Vale just showed up in one of those scenes?
She should show up at the very end, and just save the day in one of the random movies. You haven't seen her for years. Yeah, here's Vicky.
That'd be great. Like, she came in just at the end of Batman and Robin doing that whole ridiculous giant ice ray thing and all the stuff with the telescope. And then it's just like, she just got back to Gotham. It's like, holy Christ, this place has changed since the last time I was here.
Yeah. It's neon for stuff.
Everything seems a lot sillier. So, but
much like us, very silly.
But I think I'll check through the notes here because I think that's all I've got for this minute.
That's pretty much all I've got. The only thing I had left was earlier in the week when I mentioned that the mimes were like the birds. I did wonder, is there a name for a collective of mimes?
Oh.
Like a flock or,
And it's oh, you're asking. I thought you had done some research and you were going to enlighten us.
No, I just want suggestions because I'm pretty confident that there isn't one.
It's probably because like no one. You don't get too many people who actually want to mime, so they've never actually had groups. They've always just been singular. But,
well, apparently, yeah, according to TV and film, as we said, nobody likes mimes. It's a travesty. Well, except for France, of course.
Yeah. So like while you've got the floor now, Sean, if you want to pull out a full you can what do you call it, the Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, the filibuster. You can filibuster about mimes for the next
I don't know if there's
5 episodes.
Anything official. But we could maybe, start something. I'm partial to a silence of mimes.
I like that. That's perfect.
I'll go with that.
Well, there you go. From now on, that is the official term because nobody's going to argue with you.
Yeah, it makes more sense than like some of the weirdest ones. Still, like a murder of crows. I was like, what the hell? Why? Who came up with that? Why didn't you just say it could be a few crows? Like, why a murder? What does that mean? Although that's the thing now.
A murder of clowns.
Oh God! Oh my God! That'd be terrifying.
But is that everyone done? I am out of notes.
Is there anything you want to? Any parting shots you want to take at the film?
Any defenses of Mime?
I think Mime. No pun intended, but Mime speaks for itself. I do have one little thing from this minute. If you forgive me to jump back a few seconds. So we did say earlier, or I think maybe now you said, but we all agreed that this is October 25th, the anniversary of the passing of Bruce's parents. But we see, at least early on in the minute, we can see Bruce's breath. It does seem to be quite a chilly day. So I know that there was a question and supposedly an answer for where, the geography and where Gotham is located. It does seem unseasonably cold. I don't know, for much of North America, if you can typically see your breath as early as October. That's more of a December, January type weather.
Yeah.
It could also be, though, that there's a lot of steam going on in Gotham. So it could be that's just some wayward steam has made his way over to him somehow. Yeah. But
oh God, not more steam talk. Jeez, we've got an episode of Jesus, just steam.
Okay, I'm
steam
sorry. So we'll just cut all that out. No, there's no steam, nothing else.
No, it's staying in.
No,
but we did have literally the guest yesterday. It was a good 10-minute discussion on steam at one point. So
No, it was exciting stuff though, and that adds to it. That supports some of this Steam stuff.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. Yeah. Everything is.
So then the last thing I'll just say, thanks for having me. I enjoyed this movie, and I enjoyed the podcast, and I enjoyed being a guest.
Oh, thank you very much, because we love your work as well, so it's mutual.
Yeah, very, very much looking forward to the National Lampoon Christmas Days. Is that the upcoming project?
Yes, that is the upcoming project. Yeah.
And I know there's another one. I don't know if you want to mention it because it's so far down the line, but there is a Groundhog Day minute by minute one coming next year, but I'm not too sure how far along you are with that. So
yeah, so that is coming. It is we're looking at into 2018 for that, but eventually we'll get there, and there will be a Groundhog Day minute podcast coming up. So keep a lookout for that.
I'm genuinely, it's like you're kind of making yourself like, I'm going to do a podcast on miming, something that's completely silent and visual. I'm going to analyze a comedy minute by minute, and now I'm going to minute by minute go over a film that has like essentially a lot of the same scenes play over and over and over again.
No, it's ripe for material. I think though, look at the subtle differences. It's gonna be.
We're gonna get down to like the make of Ned Ryerson's glasses at one point. It's like got nothing left of this guy.
Or just record a single episode and just release the same one over and over again. And
that's actually going to be, that was the whole plan the whole time.
Yeah,
it's like they're playing some like a really long, elaborate practical joke on everybody.
That is genius. No, but it sounds great. So make sure to check that out when it does eventually come out, everybody. And, go back into the archives and listen to Spinal Tap Minute as well, because that's great stuff. And, please do. And make sure to get in touch with us, because we're all over the internet. We're everywhere. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, at BatMinute89. And then, of course, we've got the Batminute 89 Listeners Society on Facebook. That's the nice little secret group for all your Bat chat. So make sure to get involved. And we will be back again next week on Monday, where we'll have minute 49 of Batman.
Next time, televisual trashing. As Gotham's most prominent precedent pusher pleads the fifth, its newly appointed clown prince plays pugilist with his picture box. But what party-streaming plan does the petrifying prankster have percolating? Find out next week. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.